Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the special City Council Urban Affairs Committee meeting to order. It is Monday, November 17th at 7 o'clock. We have one item on our agenda, order number 25-100-9483, application for a special permit from Attorney Falk on behalf of FD 130 Lazat LLC to convert an existing office building into a multifamily dwelling, 74 units, and to erect 2 new buildings for multifamily dwelling use, 113 units, for a total development of 187 residential units, all for sale condominium units, to be known as the Glenford at Lake Williams Condominium Community, to be located in the Lazat Drive Overlay District. This was tabled in committee. If someone would like to move to remove it from the table, just for committee members?
Move
No?
to bring it to the table?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All right, we are ready to go. We have with us Attorney Falk. This was reviewed at a prior meeting, and then we kind of took it off site for him to be able to do some mitigation discussion. I don't know if you have anything you want to say first, or if you want me to just
Sure, if I
keep
could,
going.
just briefly. Thank you, Councilor Roby. Councilors, and with me, I'm Brian Falk from Myrick. With me tonight from Ferris Development are David Ferris and George Bonin. So as was mentioned, the last time we were here last week, we reviewed a draft decision. I submitted an updated decision based on the edits that we discussed at the last meeting. Hopefully everyone has a copy of it in red line. If not, I do have hard copies, if anyone needs one.
I think Karen sent them out. Did everybody either print it or bring their device? So you have a copy?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Falk.
So the red line edits you're going to see reflect what we discussed last time. We had gone through all the conditions, and what was left open to discuss were 3 mitigation areas, mitigation payment areas. We took the committee's questions and requests seriously and thought what we could build into the project's finances to help mitigate impacts and to be, a good neighbor in this area. So the 3 items, one, we had originally proposed $25,000 that would go for the Lake Williams Trail System, maintenance and improvements to the trail system. We think that'll go a long way to help, and that is important to this project as well, because our residents will certainly be users of the Lake Williams trails. The second item, based on requests from the last meeting, we added a condition where we would be making a payment of $50,000 towards the William Street ball fields. Obviously, that's prominent at the base of Lazat Drive, and we're going to be a neighbor. We want to do what we can to help improve that facility in what will be our neighborhood. And finally, we added a provision where we would make a payment of $1,000 per unit towards the West Side Fire Station. So that would be a total of $187,000 towards that needed project. This is all in addition to a prior condition whereby we would repave all of Lazat Drive from Jackson Drive up to the cul-de-sac, which was something requested by the Department of Public Works. We're confident that this project's mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms will have a fairly minimal impact on city services, but we think these mitigation items will help do what we can to address what might be our impacts in the immediate vicinity of the project. And I'll note these payments come pre-building permit, so we're talking months, not years. Tax revenue from the project we think will be far in excess of what our impact on city services would be. Those aren't going to come more in the years category from when the project is complete. These items would come pre-building permit, so again, months, not years. So that's overview of what the changes are in the draft decision. Happy to take questions.
All right, I'm going to go through a couple of minor changes, just so that they can be into the record that we're done on things, and then we'll get to the 3 new additional. So on the findings of facts, number 13, Attorney Falk did amend that language where it now reads, the applicant through its representatives conducted a balloon height test on November 7th, 2025 and November 8th, 2025 to demonstrate the height of the proposed new balloons, with notices of the balloon height test being mailed to property owners listed on the certified list of abutters and being posted on the city website. And new is the balloon height test demonstrated that the proposed new buildings would not be visible above the existing tree line east of the site when viewed across Lake Williams from the east. And then on page, I guess I missed it, on page 3, under D2, site plan review, he did change city council to site plan review committee, as was pointed out, was an error. On number 6 on page 4, affordable units got changed so that it reads prior to obtaining an occupancy permit for any unit, where before it had said a certificate of occupancy, and I think that was changed in another place. In number 8, green design, the electronic vehicle was corrected to electric vehicle. And we get to the new stuff, number 11, Lake Williams Trail funding. Prior to the issuance of the first building permit for the use, the applicant shall provide a payment to the city in the amount of $50,000 to be used by the city for maintenance and improvements to the Lake Williams Trail system. Said payment to be deposited into the city's Lazat Drive Mitigation Stabilization Fund account number, which will be set up by the auditor once, if this is approved, and can be filled in by the solicitor when it gets referred. So don't worry about that, there's no account number. So I'll open that one up for discussion. Anybody have questions, comments? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think the fire station funding is, the way this is broken
Yep,
out.
we're on 11.
We're on 11, okay, 11. I think it's increased, and I think it's great that they're doing that as well as the others.
All right, number 12, William Street Ball Fields funding is brand new. Prior to the issuance of the first building permit for the use, the applicant shall provide a payment to the city in the amount of $50,000 to be used by the city for improvements to the ball fields along William Street in the vicinity of the site. Said payments to be deposited into the city's Lazat Drive Mitigation Stabilization Fund account number. Comments, questions? Councilor Preciado.
Madam Chair, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Brian. I've spoken with Brian earlier, and we were going back and forth with the developer as well. But we decided, in order to vastly improve the neighborhood, including the new Lazat Drive neighborhood, would the applicant be willing to raise that amount to $100,000?
I got the thumbs up from Mr. Ferris, so yes, we can make that adjustment.
And I'm sorry, can you either get closer or speak louder? I didn't hear the amount.
100,000
100, specifically for number 12.
for number 12.
Correct.
Okay. And you're okay with that, Attorney
Yeah,
Falk?
yes.
Okay, we'll change that. Number 13, West Side Fire Station funding, also new. Prior to the issuance of the first building permit for each of the 3 residential buildings at the site, the applicant shall make a payment to the city in the amount of $1,000 for each multifamily dwelling unit to be developed in the respective building, for a total of $187,000 to be used by the city for a proposed West Side Fire Station. Said payments to be deposited into the city's West Side Fire Station Mitigation Stabilization Fund account number. Comments, questions on the fire? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I like the way this is structured as much as it's based upon the number of units. So I think we, as a council, should agree what this number should be, and as other projects are coming to us in the very near future, we should probably take this into account as well.
All right. No further comments then? Everything else, I believe, is exactly as it was presented the first time around. I don't know if I actually went through them. Number 14 is landscaping. A detailed landscaping plan shall be reviewed and further conditioned during the site plan review process. 15 is lighting. Exterior lighting shall be downward facing, shielded to minimize impacts on the neighboring properties, with a lighting plan for the site to be reviewed by the site plan review process. Number 14 is Conservation Commission approval. I think I did read these, I remember that. The applicant shall obtain and comply with an order of conditions. So, if there's no further discussion.
Madam Chair, move to approve as amended.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the grant of a special permit as amended. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that carries. I will try to, I had sort of pre-prepared some report. I can finish it up with this and be able to add that. I can get it to Karen so she can print them out, and I can report that out. I'll ask for a suspension, so this can go to the solicitor. Should be on our December 1st meeting, and we can hopefully take another one off.
That would be
List.
great. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Motion to adjourn?
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? 2, 3, 4, 5. We are adjourned at 7:10. Thank you all.
Evening, everyone. I'll call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday evening, November 17th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have 15 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the city clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, November 3rd, 2025.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the minutes.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now's the time for the public hearing on the petition of Mass Electric to install 2 single-owned poles on Elm Street, beginning at a point approximately 50 feet south of the center line of the intersection of Lock Drive and Elm Street. And National Grid is proposing to install new pole P5625 at approximately 42 degrees, 20 minutes, 49 seconds north, and 71 degrees, 34 minutes, 34 seconds west. Install new pole 5650 at 42 degrees, 20 minutes, 50 degrees north, and 71 degrees, 34 minutes, 36 minutes west. Order number 25-100-9590.
Okay, this public hearing will be taken up in 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And fourth, questions from the council. And I'll ask everyone speaking to please state their name and address for the record. Al, come on up. So I'll open the first part of the public hearing, which is the public speaking in favor.
Al Galvin, Design Engineer, National Grid Electric.
Evening, Al, just give us an overview of the project.
Sure. This is an expansion of the North Marlboro substation. It's to add 2 new feeders onto the station's primary feed, and this particular 2 poles are involved in one part of several job projects that are included in this expansion overall.
Okay, thanks, Al. And we have a communication from
Yes, I'm sorry. We also have a communication from City Engineer Thomas DePercio regarding recommended conditions for the petition of Mass Electric on Elm Street and Lock Drive.
Great, thanks. Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing. Councilor Pacillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seeing with the engineer's comments, move to approve the petition subject to the conditions submitted by the city engineer.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the petition subject to the conditions identified by the city engineer. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries and the vote is 10-0. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3.
Now's the time for the public hearing on the application for a special permit from Lifestyle Fit LLC, DBA FRVR Athletics, for a proposed gym for physical fitness classes, team strength and performance training, fitness education, nutrition education and training, and the sale of related fitness clothing and merchandise to be in an existing building at 214 Cedar Hill Street. Order number 25-100-9581.
Okay, this public hearing will be taken up in the same 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And finally, fourth, questions from the city council. I'll open the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Logan Filolos, and I'm the owner and operator of the Lifestyle Fit LLC. I'm looking to open up a new gym space in 214 Cedar Hill Street, doing business as Forever Athletics, FRVR. The proposed use is private training, large and small group fitness classes, as well as some holistic health training and nutrition, and expansion of the Lifestyle Fit, which is my online nutrition coaching company.
All set? Any other members of the public speak in favor? Any members of the public speak in favor? Any members of the public speak in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just some general questions about the business. How many customers will be going into this place on a semi-regular basis? You know, what's the foot traffic going to be like?
Propose about 8 to 12 customers per class, running one class at a time.
Okay, okay. But how long are the classes?
1 hour.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. Question would be your hours of operation. I believe this isn't too far from where we had a previous proposal. I think they were going to operate almost 24/7. Curious what your hours of operation are being, what are you considering for hours of operation?
I'd like to be able to open around 5 a.m. in the morning to start classes there, and then towards the end of the day, probably close up around 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs. So Urban Affairs will be in touch with you, Logan, all right? All right, thank you very much. Agenda item number 4.
Communication from City Council President Ossing regarding the appointment of Councilor Michael Ossing to the OPEB Board of Trustees for a 2-year term pursuant to Order Number 13-100-5335C.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the communication, please.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you know this Michael Ossing at all?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do.
All I was going to suggest is, and I don't have a problem with this situation, but we were talking about succession at our meeting on whatever day it was, and I think it wouldn't be a bad idea when appointments happen for these committees that there be an associate so they can learn along the line of what the person that's been appointed can learn. And that way, God forbid, but if something happened to the person, and I know right now you're the person, that there could be someone that could succeed them immediately. So down the road, I'd like to see this in all positions being appointed to boards to be considering succession and maybe an assistant, just like we have a vice president, same concept. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. I would just add that this is a trust, so there are no successions, but I will open it to any council member that wants to attend with me. I am more than happy to bring you along if you want to attend the OPEB meetings. I mean, that's an open invitation. On the motion to accept and place on file, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's filed. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $9,000 from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection awarded to the Department of Public Works to help offset the rising costs of processing recyclable materials.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $149,040 from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs awarded to the Council on Aging Senior Center to provide essential funding for staffing, partial salary support for the Executive Director, as well as enrichment programs and events at the Senior Center.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I was privileged to talk to the executive director of the senior center because I was amazed to see that this grant will pay for 9 fitness folks. I said, wow, that's an awful lot of fitness people going up there at the senior center. And she told me just yesterday that there are over 30 different fitness classes being offered through our senior center. And I thought that was an amazing, amazing feat that that many seniors are up there getting in shape. So I just think this is a great grant, and I very much approve it.
Thank you very much, Councilor Vital. Anyone else? Councilor Oram?
Well, now that Councilor Vital brought it up, my wife enjoys some of those fitness programs, and they're fantastic, but I just want to let the council know, they fill up quickly. They really do, so they're in definite need of these programs, which maybe I should start joining too, but thank you, Councilor Vital, for bringing up that point. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Anyone else? On the motion to approve the grant, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved. The vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $1,031,094, which moves funds from meals tax revenue account to fund fiscal year 26 bond payments associated with the Parks and Recreation improvements.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the council's knowledge, and in years past, we have approved this on the floor at our Monday night meetings. So my motion would be to approve the transfer request for $1,031,094, please.
Motion made and second to approve the transfer. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Transfer carries 0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed license to encroach between VMA Electric and the city of Marlborough for a proposed deck and ramp that slightly encroaches on city property at the back of the building at 269 Mechanic Street, adjoining the rail trail.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to send this item to the Legislative and Legal Committee and accept and place on file the communication.
Motion made, you just send it to your committee. That would be
thank
fine. Motion's made and second to send to the Legal and Legislative Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? This is going to L&L, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the application for amendment to site plan approval from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Taj Estates of Marlborough LLC for a mixed-use development in the Marlborough Village District at 163 to 165 Mechanic Street in proper legal form, order number 25-100-9554.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor. Thank him for getting this done as we had hoped, and to refer the rest of it to reports.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file the communication and refer this to reports of committees. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed, and this is going to the reports of committee section of our agenda, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the application for amendment to a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Taj Estates of Marlborough LLC for a mixed-use project in the Marlborough Village District consisting of 67 residential condominium units, street-level commercial space, 61 on-site parking spaces, and residential amenities at 163 to 175 Main Street, order number 25-100-9554.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication and to move everything else to reports.
Motion is made and second to accept and place on file the communication and move this item to the reports of committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed, and this is going to reports of committees, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding request from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Taj Estates of Marlborough LLC to purchase city stair land adjacent to the proposed mixed-use project at 163 to 175 Main Street in proper legal form, order number 25-100-9578.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and to move the language to reports.
Motion is made and second to accept and place on file the communication and move this item down to reports of committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going to be, the communications filed, and this will go down to reports of committees, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding proposed zoning ordinance amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to add a new section that would create the Ames Village Overlay District in proper legal form, order number 25-100-9553A.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and to move the zoning ordinance to reports.
Motion's made and second to accept and place on file the communication and move this item to reports of committees. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is filed and going to reports of committees, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 13.
Communication from the Planning Board regarding a favorable recommendation and proposed conditions on the proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to create the Ames Village Overlay District, order number 25-100-9553A.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication from the planning board.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the planning board. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communications filed, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 14.
Petition of Cablevision Lightpath LLC to install approximately 665 feet of 1 to 4 inch SCH 40 PVC communication conduit from pole number 63 on Forest Street to pole 59, with one 24 by 30 handhole near the entrance to 753 Forest Street. In addition, to install approximately 490 feet of 1 to 4 inch SCH 40 PVC communications conduit from existing pole 58 on Forest Street to pole 55, with one 24 by 30 handhole near the entrance to 669 Forest Street.
Counselor Verchillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to set a date for a public hearing on December 1st and to advertise.
Motion's made and seconded to set a public hearing. We'll set that for December 1st, and we'll advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is going to have a public hearing on December 1st, and we'll advertise it, and the vote is 10-0. Agenda item 15.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr.
Counselor
President?
Doucette.
Thank you much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion's made and seconded to accept and place on file all our minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes will be filed, and the vote is 10-0. Reports of committees, and we have a lot of them. Let's see. How about we'll start with finance?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to ask the city clerk to advertise and set a public hearing for Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 8 p.m. For the tax classification held jointly with the Board of Assessors, please.
You good with that? Yes, sir. Thank you, Councilor Irish. That's good.
Thank you. And so the Finance Committee met on November 10th, 2025. Meeting convened at 6:30 p.m. We had 4 items on the agenda that evening. First item was order number 25-100-9560. Transfer request in the amount of $326,352.86 from free cash to various accounts to fund the remaining balance of the collective bargaining agreement with the Marlboro Employees Association, MMEA. Chair Irish read the communication from Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Council Vidal, seconded by the Chair, the Finance Committee recommends approval of the transfer. The vote carried 5-0. Next up was order number 25-100-9561, transfer request in the amount of $337,345.98 from free cash to various accounts to fund the remaining balance of the collective bargaining agreement with the Public Works Equipment Operators Association. Chair Irish read the communication from Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Council Facillo, seconded by the Chair, the Finance Committee recommends a reduction in the amount of the transfer in the amount of $21,187.03 by eliminating the following 5 overtime account transfers. One was $5,562.10 from line item 51310, overtime for regular and streets. Next item was $253.02 from line item 51310. That was overtime for the regular fleet maintenance. Next item was $6,893.47 from account 51310, overtime regular, forestry and parks. Next was $40.34 from account 600-85003, and that was the overtime, the West Treatment Plant. Next item was $8,438.10 from account 610-90003, overtime regular for the water. The Finance recommends approval of the transfer in the amount of $316,158.95, incorporating the above reductions to fund the FY 2026 Public Works Equipment Operators account. The vote carried 5-0. Next up was order number 25-100-9562. Transfer request in the amount of $500,000 from free cash to the Workers' Compensation Fund to address the project shortfall as noted by the Comptroller. Chair Irish read the communication from the Mayor Dumas. On a motion by Council Brown, seconded by the Chair, the Finance Committee recommends approval of the transfer. The vote carried 5-0. Next item was order number 25-100-9563, a transfer request in the amount of $612,390.56 from reserve for salaries and free cash to various accounts to fund the remaining balance of the collective bargaining agreement with the local 1714 International Associations of Firefighters, AFL, CIO, CLC. Chair Irish read the communication from Mayor Dumas. The Finance Committee recommends a reduction in the transfer in the amount of $49,746.89 by eliminating the following overtime account transfers from the undesignated fund portion of the transfer. That includes $39,585 from line item 51300, additional gross overtime. Next item was $3,597.30 from line item 51324, overtime vehicle maintenance. Next item was $6,564.59 from line item 51328, and that is the call fire overtime. The Finance Committee recommends approval of the $562,643.67 from reserve for salaries, and that amount is actually a typo. It should be $422,627 and $627.36 from reserve from salaries, and $140,106.31 from undesignated funds, incorporating the above reductions to fund the FY 2026 firefighters account, and the vote carried 5-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:03 p.m., and I will be asking for 4 suspensions this evening, Mr. President.
The Chair of Finance has asked for 4 suspensions. That's been seconded. All in favor of the 4 suspensions? Opposed? The 4 suspensions carry. The vote is 10-0.
On the item 25-100-9560, move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer in the amount of $326,000 and $352.86.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $326,352.86 for the MMEA contract. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Transfer carries, and the vote is 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you. Next item is order number 25-100-9561. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer request in the amount of $316,158.95.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $316,158.95 to fund the equipment operator accounts. Any discussion on the transfer? On the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Transfer carries, so the motion carries, and the vote is 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you. Next order is order number 25-100-9562. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer in the amount of $500,000.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $500,000 for workers' comp. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you. Next item is order number 25-100-9563. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the transfer request in the amount of $562,643.67.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of $562,643.67 to fund the firefighter contract for fiscal year 26. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Transfers approved. The vote is 10-0. We all set there?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Next up, we'll go to Public Service.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Services Committee met on November 13th, 2025 at 7:10 p.m. We had one item on that evening's agenda, order number 25-100-9577, application for a junk dealer license from Matthew McDonald Furlong, DBA Eco ATM LLC at 240 East Main Street. The chair opened the meeting by reading a communication from Police Chief David Georgie. Chief Georgie indicated that he'd spoken to Christopher Reyes of Eco ATM, and that he had been advised that the applicant's query request has been submitted, but we are still waiting the results. Chief Georgie will send the results to the City Council once they are available. He has also highlighted that there were no issues with Eco ATM when they previously operated a kiosk at the Solomon Pond Mall in Marlboro. Councilor Irish stated that he's familiar with the business. He noted that Eco ATM is a contactless kiosk that allows consumers to sell and recycle their used electronics. The process includes an identity verification, which prevents any fraud with the transactions. Councilor Roby asked where the kiosk would be located at 240 East Main. The chair confirmed that it'll be inside Market 32. Councilor Roby requested their hours of operation, which the chair confirmed to be 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. On a motion by Councilor Irish, seconded by the chair, the committee recommends approval of the junk dealer license, subject to the results of the query from Police Chief Georgie. Vote 2-0. Councilor Doucette was absent. And on a motion by Councilor Irish, we adjourned at 7:13 p.m. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilor Facillo. Next up, we got personnel.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The City Council Personnel Committee met on November 13th, and we convened at 7:15 p.m. for two items on the agenda. First up was order number 25-100-9588, proposed job descriptions pursuant to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 5, preparation of classification descriptions relative to the position of General Foreman for Fleet Maintenance Division, Forestry, Parks, and Cemetery Division, and Streets Division within the Department of Public Works. Chair read the communication from Mayor Dumas, and Commissioner Scott addressed the committee and the rest of the councilors who were in the chamber in order to, on the order, and asked for a suspension if possible for this evening, for which I will request at the end of the report. Councilor Orm expressed the importance of being OSHA trained, and on a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the committee recommended the approval for the proposed job descriptions with the amendment requested by Councilor Orm to include the job description that OSHA training will occur within 12 months after hire, and the vote carried 2-0. Next up was order number 25-100-9589, proposed job descriptions pursuant to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 5, preparation of classification descriptions relative to the position of fire chief. The chair read the mayor's letter. Councilor Brown stated that the proposed changes to the position of the fire chief seemed right in line with the Human Resources report. On a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by the chair, the committee recommends approval of the proposed job description relative to the position of fire chief, and that vote carried 2-0, and the committee adjourned at 7:40 p.m. So I'd like to request a suspension to take up order number 25-100-9588.
You want both of them or just one of them?
Just one.
Just one. The chair of personnel has requested suspension of the rules. It's been made and seconded. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. In regards to order number 25-100-9588, I move the recommendation of committee for the proposed job descriptions pursuant to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 5, preparation of classification descriptions relative to the positions of General Foreman for Fleet Maintenance Division, Forestry, Parks, and Cemetery Division, and Streets Division within the Department of Public Works.
Motion made and seconded to approve the job descriptions for the DPW General Foreman positions. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The job descriptions are approved for the DPW, and the vote is 10-0.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Let's go to legislative and legal.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee met on November 13th, 2025. The meeting convened at 6:30 p.m. We took up three orders, starting with order number 25-100-9415, communication from President Ossing regarding a proposed change to Marlboro City Charter relative to Section 59A for filling vacancies in the office of Mayor and City Council. After lengthy discussion amongst committee and other councilors, the order was postponed. President Ossing will provide additional information for a meeting to be held in the future. The vote carried 3-0. Order number 25-100-9414, communication from City Solicitor Grossfield regarding procedure to fill vacant Ward 7 councilor position. On a motion by Councilor Facillo, seconded by the chair, the order is accepted and placed on file. The vote carried 3-0. And order number 25-1009576, proposed lease agreement with the South Middlesex Opportunity Council for space at the Walker Building. Chair read the communication from Mayor Dumas. Councilors were generally in support of the lease. Councilor Vital spoke in opposition. On a motion by Councilor Frachillo, seconded by the chair, the committee voted to recommend approval for the proposed lease agreement with the South Middlesex Opportunity Council for space at the Walker Building. The vote carried 3-0, and I will be asking for a suspension. We adjourn the meeting at 7:05 p.m.
Thank you, Councilor Brown.
Thank
The
you.
Chair of L&L has asked for suspension. That's been made and seconded. All those in favor of the suspension of the rules? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of the committee to approve the proposed lease.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the committee to approve the lease. And just so that we were all clear, that's to declare the space available, authorize the procurement officer to issue a notice of award, and allow the mayor to negotiate a contract. Everybody's good on all that? Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? The lease is, I'm sorry, Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. I oppose because I'd rather not lock up the Walker Building for 5 years just for 2 offices on the main floor. That's why I'm in opposition.
Okay. So on the vote, all those in favor? Opposed? The vote is 9-1 to approve the lease.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Anybody else left? Councilor Roby.
You might not want me to do my reports. Okay, we'll start with November 6th. We took up a number of orders, starting with number 25-100-9512, an application for a special permit from Attorney Falk on behalf of Farm Road Realty Trust and Evangelist Roofing to operate a contractor yard in a pre-existing non-conforming building in the Airport Industrial Park at 17 Airport Boulevard. I have multiple reports with lots of language, so I'm going to skip reading a lot of it, if that's okay. Everybody has copies, so they can, I don't know that I need to go for the detail. I'm going to just go for the motions. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the grant of a special permit for Farm Road Realty Trust and Evangelist Roofing to operate a contractor yard in a pre-existing non-conforming building at 17 Airport Boulevard. It was seconded and the motion carried. I am asking for a suspension tonight to have this referred to legal. So I'm going to go through all of them and then go backwards, or do you want to take this one off?
Whichever you find most convenient for you.
Do you want to, I'll ask for the suspension on this one now and
Sure.
move it off the list. So-
Chair's asked for a suspension, which has been seconded. The rules for this item to go to the solicitor. All those in favor of suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
So move to refer this to the solicitor to be put in proper form for a vote on December 1st.
Motion made and seconded. Refer this item to the solicitor to be put in proper format for our next meeting. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This is going to the solicitor to be put in proper format, and the vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
All right, so the next item was order number 25-100-9554, the application for a special permit from Attorney Falk on behalf of Taj Estates for the mixed-use project in the Marlboro Village District known as E on Main, consisting of 67 residential condominium units, street-level commerce space, 43 on-site parking spaces, and resident amenities at 163-175 Main Street. You can read through the detail of the discussion that we went through, a lot of detail on the parking garage. Councilor Frachillo moved to recommend approval of the grant of the amended special permit with blank dates in finding of facts number 11 to be November 6, 2025, for both the site plans and the architectural drawings referred to as Attachment A. The motion was seconded and carried 4-1. Preciado opposed. The chair stated her understanding that Attorney Falk had been working with the solicitor. It is in proper form on our agenda, so I'm going to finish reports and then we'll come back to this to move for suspension to vote on this evening.
You want to do it now, or you want to wait?
Let's just go through all of it. That way we can come back and,
Okay?
unless Steve is ready to read the special permit language.
He's
but-
always ready to read.
All right, so we'll take this, because if this doesn't pass, then the other two are sort of
Okay, motion's made, chair's made a recommendation to suspend the rules, which has been seconded. All those in favor of suspending the rules? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0.
All right, so move the recommendation of committee to approve.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the amended special permit. Any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll ask the clerk to read the conditions.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant an amendment to the original special permit in order to modify the use at the site as shown on the new plans, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built in accordance with this decision and the new plans as may be amended during site plan review. 2, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant agrees to comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules and regulations and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use. 3, site plan review. The issuance of this decision is further subject to detailed site plan review by the City Council prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to this decision in the building permit, and no final occupancy permit shall be issued until the applicant has complied with all the conditions, provided, however, that subsequent to the issuance of the decision and the site plan approval, the city's site plan review committee may authorize the phasing of site and building work depending upon weather conditions and other factors. Site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this decision, and the material submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and is amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. The final architectural design of the site shall be reasonably consistent with the new plan submitted by the applicant. The final exterior features of the site, including landscaping, shall be maintained in good condition and shall be reasonably consistent with the new plan submitted and representations made to the City Council. 5, monument donation. The applicant agrees that prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the use, the applicant shall donate materials and engraving for a Gold Star Family Memorial Monument to be located in the plaza behind Marlborough City Hall, with plans and specifications for said monument to be provided by the Marlborough Veterans Council and the city engineer, and with installation of the monument to be the responsibility of the city. 6, relief granted in original special permit. Except as modified as set forth in the new plans, the use shall continue to benefit from the relief granted pursuant to the original special permit. This decision amends the plans referenced as and shown in attachment A to the original special permit to be the new plans attached to this decision as attachment A. 7, conditions in original special permit. Conditions number 1 through 4 of the original special permit are amended to read as set forth above in conditions 1 through 4 of this decision, respectively. Conditions 5, 6, and 7B of the original special permit shall continue in full force and effect, except for references in Condition 6 to a roof deck, which is not applicable to the new plans, as there is no roof deck. Condition 7 and 7A of the original special permit shall not apply to the new plans, as there is no roof deck. And finally, 8, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant at its expense shall record this decision in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing this decision, has elapsed with no appeal having been filed and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the recorded decision to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
Thank you, Steve. City clerk has read the conditions. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the amended special permit. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll. A yes vote is in favor of the amendment. A no vote is in opposition to it. Mr. Kerry.
Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
Councilor Roby.
Yes.
Councilor Vital.
Yes.
Councilor Fucillo.
Yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Oram.
No.
Councilor Preciado.
No.
8 in favor, 2 opposed, sir.
The vote to approve the amended special permit for Taj Estates passes. The vote is 8 in favor and 2 opposed. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next item on the agenda is, guess that takes care of November 6th. Now we're to November 10th. I thought we had more items. The City Council or Urban Affairs Committee met on November 10th at 7 o'clock. We had order number 25-109-579, a report for approval of a master sign plan for 910 Boston Post Road East to include an internally illuminated pylon sign within the Wayside zoning district. There was discussion about the language of the master sign plan. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of a master sign plan for 910 Boston Post Road East to supersede the master sign plan approved on October 23rd, 2023. The master sign plan includes one internally illuminated pylon sign depicted on a page labeled Pylon Signs 1 and 2 by Viewpoint Sign and Awning. Number 2, 3 existing internally illuminated signs on the west side of the building with details on their sizes. And number 3, 4 signs along Route 20 side for future tenants, each sign 8 feet by 20 inches and not internally illuminated. Each of the 3 internally illuminated signs will be turned off when the respective business is closed each day. The internally illuminated pylon sign will be on a timer that will turn off the entire sign at midnight and turn on at dusk. The chair seconded the motion and it carried 4-1. The chair will ask for a suspension to vote on this master sign plan this evening.
Been a request for suspension of the rules by the Urban Affairs Chair, which has been seconded. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee to approve the master sign plan for 910 Boston Post Road.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the sign plan for 910 Boston Post Road East. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Sign plan is approved, and the vote is 10-0. Oh, I'm sorry. I got help me out, guys. All right. I'm sorry. So the vote is 9 in favor, 1 opposed. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next order is 25-109-483, the application for a special permit from Attorney Falk on behalf of FD 130 Lazat LLC to convert an existing office building into multifamily dwelling units and to erect 2 new buildings for multifamily dwelling use, 113 units for a total development of 187 residential units, all for sale condominiums, to be known as the Glenford at Lake Williams Condominium Community, to be located in the Lazat Drive Overlay District. This was postponed and was taken up again tonight, so I will report out that later. The next item that we took up on the 10th was order number 25-109-554, an application for amendment to site plan approval from Attorney Falk on behalf of Taj Estates for the mixed-use project at 163-175 Main Street. Councilor Frachilla moved to recommend approval of the amended site plan with the one correction. It was seconded and carried 4-1 with Preciado opposed. Again, this is on the agenda in proper form, so I would move to suspend the rules to be able to vote on this evening.
Chair has asked for suspension of the rules to vote on the site plan. All those in favor of suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
Move the recommendation of committee to approve the amended site plan.
Motion made and seconded to approve the amended site plan for Taj Estates. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? I'm waiting. All those opposed? Site plan is approved by a vote of 8 in favor, 2 opposed. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next item on the agenda was order number 25-109-578, a communication from Attorney Falk on behalf of Taj Estates of Marlborough LLC regarding a request to purchase city stair land adjacent to the proposed mixed-use project at 163-175 Main Street. Again, there was discussion on the stairs. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the order, plan of land, and deed to be finalized by Solicitor Grossfield to purchase the property for $11,600. The motion was seconded and carried 5-0. This again is on the agenda, so I would move to suspend so we can vote on this evening.
Request by the Urban Affairs Chair to suspend the rules has been seconded. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries, and the vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
So move to approve the order for the approval of the order, the plan of land, and the deed to purchase the city property.
Been a motion made and second to approve the order and the deed for the purchase of the stairs by next adjacent to Taj Estates. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The easement and order carry, and the vote is 8-2. That is approved. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. The final item from the 10th is order number 25-109-553, proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to add a new section to create the Ames Village Overlay District. Again, this came back to us after going through the first round of zoning. Councilor Frachilla moved to recommend approval of the zoning change language as amended. It was second, and the vote carried 3-2 with Preciado and Navin opposed. Attorney Falk was in contact with the solicitor. This is on our agenda in proper form, so again, I would ask for a suspension to be able to vote on this evening.
Chair has asked for suspension of the rules to vote on this item this evening. All those in favor of suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
Move the recommendation of committee to recommend approval of the zoning change language as amended.
Okay, since this is a zoning change, any discussion on the zoning change? Hearing none, so it's got to go through the 4 stages. We're good? I just want to make sure. All those in favor of suspending the first reading and approving the second? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3. That is approved. 7, 3. All those in favor of the passage to be enrolled? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6-4, so it was Navin, Orem, Preciado, Irish. If I got it wrong, please let me know. All those in favor to be ordained? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any objection to passage in one evening? Hearing none, the ordinance is approved. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the City Council Urban Affairs Committee met this evening at 7 o'clock. We had one item on our agenda, the order number 25-109-483, the application for a special permit from Attorney Falk on behalf of FD 130 Lazat LLC to convert an existing office building into multifamily dwelling units, 74, and to erect 2 new buildings for multifamily dwelling use, 113 units, for a total development of 187 residential units, all for sale condominium units to be known as the Glenford at Lake Williams Condominium Community to be located in the Lazat Drive Overlay District. At the earlier meeting, we had gone through almost all of the language, inserting some of the points from the planning board, and then we had tabled that while we allowed the applicant to come up with language on mitigation. So I went through, there were some changes that the attorney had made that he cleaned up after our first meeting, but for this particular meeting, the mitigation included changing the $25,000 for the Lake William Trail funding to $50,000. The use was limited to the city, and language is added to clarify funds will be deposited into the Lazat Drive Mitigation Stabilization Fund, with a number to be added when we have it. A new D12 was added, William Street Ball Fields, funding with a donation of $50,000 to be used for improvements to the ball fields along William Street and deposited in that same stabilization fund. Councilor Preciado had moved to amend the amount to $100,000. The applicant agreed, and there was consensus by the committee. And the final was a new D13 titled West Side Fire Station Funding, with a payment of $1,000 for each unit, for a total of $187,000 with the funds deposited into the Westside Fire Station stabilization account. The remaining items were renumbered. Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the amended special permit for FD 130 Lazat LLC to convert the existing office building into multifamily dwellings. So I would like to ask for a suspension so this can be referred to the solicitor to be put in proper form.
Motion's made and seconded to ask for a suspension. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension carries. The vote is 10-0. Councilor Roby.
So move to refer this to the solicitor to be put in proper form for our December 1st meeting.
Motion made and seconded to refer the Lazat Drive project to the solicitor to be placed in proper format for our 12-1 meeting. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's going to the solicitor, and the vote is 10-0. Are there any other?
Oh, if I can just say, the Urban Affairs is going to meet at 7:30 on December 1st. We have, I believe, our last item from Attorney Falk to try to get finished before the end of the year.
Well, 12-1 at 7:30.
7:30.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Any other reports of committees? I will say I would like to acknowledge the effort of all the committee members. That was the first time I remember the committee reports taking longer than the actual agenda. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adjourn.
Motion's made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:51. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.